Thank you for having me, everybody. Honored to be here, as I said. Let's see, can you hear me all right? Is this good?
Yes.
All right, cool, sweet. I would love if y'all be into like starting off with a little meditation together, because that's what I do also, and it's a great way to begin. So when you're ready, just get in a nice, comfortable, aligned position, and you can close your eyes when you're ready as well. And take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth here this morning, just to get nice and centered and grounded. So, finding your center within as you take another deep breath. Letting go of any residual stress or fears from outside or anything going on in your life right now. All the humanness that we encounter in the daily. And connecting with your breath. Another deep inhale through your nose and out through your mouth. Beautiful. And now, the next few breaths, just go ahead and set the intention of presence. Highest purpose for whatever today service has for you, and any other intentions that you'd like to set at this moment can be entirely specific to you, personal to you. Awesome, and when you're ready, you can start to bring your awareness back to the room and open your eyes, but take your time, take several deep breaths here. Awesome. How's everybody feel right now?
Awesome.
A little different? Okay. All right.
Good.
Cool. Sweet.
Good.
Cool. All right. Well, to tell you a little bit more about me. I'm a spiritual practitioner. I am someone who, isn't afraid to say that I live with purpose, and I have been changing my behavior and doing the work and showing up to spiritually practice and try to become a better version of me, and I do owe a lot of that to my mom. She got me into yoga when I was 8 years old. I grew up practicing yoga due to her. I love you, Mom. Thank you for being here. I am a wellness instructor. As I mentioned, I lead meditations almost every weekday morning, and I teach at a rehab center. I teach meditation, and I teach music healing. I'm very lucky. I teach like a music mindfulness class where we pretty much do that. I just pass out a bunch of shakers and we jam, and it's been going really well. Everyone's enjoying it, so I'm very lucky in terms of that. I'm a musician, and I'm a sober advocate. I live sober. I've been sober for a couple of years from everything, including weed. Thank you. And so, and I realize, everybody's different and to each their own. But for those people that are curious, like I'm all about talking about, like how sobriety has really made a huge difference for me and been instrumental in my growth, and consistency. And to get into the talk, today's talk is about embodying the person your inner child deserves, which is a really wonderful person, we all have really beautiful, wonderful inner children that deserve, that really kind leadership for them, and there's that dynamic inside between our adult, like our inner adult, and our inner child, which I'll talk a little bit more about today, but we all deserve a really kind, wonderful inner adult for our inner child. And so at the end of the day, I strive to be my true self. I strive to be authentic. And what that does have to do a lot with is, looking within and looking like who was I originally embodying, or who are you embodying at the time, and going from there, right? And that's why I find therapy very helpful. I've been in therapy. It's been a new thing I've been doing. Been doing that for 4 months, and that's been incredibly helpful. And that removes a lot of shame too. And that's a lot of what I'm going to talk about here today, is removing shame from programming that we all learned as little kids. And it's not your fault, it's no one's fault, it's just part of the journey, right? Because as little kids, we learn from parental figures, we learn from society about how we're supposed to behave to get our needs met. We learn, how to fit in, right? How to be liked. And, there comes a time when on your journey where there's some things that you learn to let go of as you embrace other ways of living and other beliefs, right? So, who are you initially embodying? You could naturally take on some beliefs and the voice of your parents growing up, right? You could also take on, and it's just natural because it's who you learn from, right? You see little kids kind of behaving like their parents, almost like in a theatrical way, right? You could also take on this kind of people pleaser kind of persona, right? Where you want to be liked, and so you might embody the good boy or the good girl, which is touched on in the 4 agreements, I believe. Dixie talked about recently here, and also a speaker that I like a lot named Aaron Doty. He's a public speaker and a therapist. He talks about this good boy, good girl dynamic too, right? And it's people pleasing because, when we're little kids, we're taught like dogs, we're taught like little puppies in a way to behave, right? It's funny, yeah. It's true in terms of you're punished and rewarded, right? Like good boy, bad boy, right? And so you might take on subsequently some of that, those beliefs and that behavior, right? And that can carry into adulthood, People pleasing can carry into adulthood. And so when we talk about getting into the true self, this true self that I'm talking about is someone who basically feels unencumbered and feels free to be their natural selves, rather than the idea of someone that other people or the idea of someone that you need to be, or to fit a framework. It's your true self is that beautiful inner child expressing, and that's the kind of true self that I'm talking about today. And so how do we work with this, and how do we undo this? And we talk about meditation. We just did a little meditation together, and I believe a lot of people here meditate. There's this book that I've been bringing to my rehab groups recently, and it's called Make Peace with Your Mind: How Kindness and Compassion Can Free You from Your Inner Critic, by Mark Coleman. And it's really beautiful, and it talks about the inner critics that play in our mind as different voices. And when I say voices in your mind, I just mean different groups of thoughts together that fit a narrative. Like the judge, always deeming whether you're doing enough or whether you're good or bad. Or the perfectionist, saying that you're not good enough until you get it perfect, right? And the one thing that all these different voices or personas have in mind is that they use shame. They use some punishing. They use shame to motivate you, right? And so what we work with in healing, and just what is, I'm finding more and more, is just such a universal and true concept, is this idea of letting go, meeting the emotions that come up and letting go of shame, letting go of shame. And the more you do that, the more you see that color light up in your eyes at life, the more you see yourself as that little kid again, And so how do you do it? Well, one thing that's very meditative is, take some time alone, and also just when you're living life, and bring your awareness to what voices are playing in your mind, whether that is that voice of a parent or that voice of a judge or a critic, right? And then like a TV, you start to treat certain voices as static. You don't give them as much power. You don't give them power, right? You decide which voices or which, voices in your mind occupy the driver's seat, And we all deserve a really kind, compassionate leader in the driver's seat. So that person is someone who uses kindness and compassion, like Coleman says. That's someone who motivates with light rather than dark all the time, And you hear celebrities, some will talk about how they use dark motivation, shaming themselves to get to where they are, like they achieve material success to get there. But there's a point where, it's time to let go of that, like I mentioned, right? There's a point where that's not sustainable anymore. There's this hip hop artist that's really famous and incredibly successful named Russ that I admire a lot. And he uses light motivation now. A lot of his songs are like therapy that he just raps out. And he did it all by himself. He never signed and gave away his power to a record label. He performs on the biggest stages. He makes like $24 million a year because he still owns all of his songs. Someone who inspires me because he never gave away his power like that, He's done some deals with record labels, but he's, done it in his own way where, he still owns the songs and everybody's fighting to work with him, right? Because he's an icon, right? And he has that following for himself, right? So he doesn't get screwed over by record labels like a lot of artists do. But anyway, it's amazing. So it's about undoing this programming and rewiring with the beliefs, that we truly deserve. Your inner child's a dreamer. Your inner child is here to experience life and to go after your dreams. There's this other book I'm reading. It's called It's Great to Suck at Something by Karen Rinaldi. And you can kind of get the gist of it, because a lot of the fear that will come up with trying something new is that fear of what if I'm bad, or what if other, whatever, right? What if other people, what if, but it's really, this fear of the unknown, I find that really about fear of feeling different emotions, which, a lot might be suppressed from childhood, right? Taught that, vulnerability is bad, and you're it's not okay to cry as a woman or a man, or, whatever gender. And, so anyway, there's this maybe fear of being embarrassed, but this book, I definitely recommend it. It adds light to that area of hey, suck at something. And it's about this woman who wrote it as a surfer who feels that she's sucked at surfing the whole time she's been doing it. And that, and that it's she loves it. And she actually says in the book that part of the reason she loves it, or part of the reason is because she was so afraid of it, and she loves it because it is a symbol of her constantly facing her fears. Isn't that beautiful? It's not because she's it's no other reason, just because it's facing her fears. And I think that's a lot of what life is about. That's what a lot of my love for life is, facing the void. And there's a lot of vulnerability, and as someone who it's trying my best to live with purpose and be focused. And live sober. I'm a very emotional person, and that's part of life, something that, if you accept, it can be really beautiful. So I like to, let's see, I would like to lead a little true self meditation for y'all to close as well, to get right into it. Because as I mentioned, I love meditation and I love sharing it. Does that sound good with y'all if we close with a meditation too? Yeah. Okay, cool, sweet. Let's get into it. So, again, when you're ready, you can close your eyes and get in that nice aligned position. Awesome. Another deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Beautiful, y'all. So, I'd like for you to go ahead. This is a safe space. Another deep breath. Get nice and relaxed in your body. Go ahead and picture your true self, or maybe a version of you who's doing some things that you dream to do, or the person that you look up to, emblemized as yourself. Whether that is through an achievement that you're experiencing, or a thing that you always wanted to do or have. Go ahead, imagine them in front of you, and as we take several more deep breaths, imagine them floating closer to you. I'm still feeling the energy of what they represent and what they are. Person you look up to. Until they join with you and you're one of the same. Another deep breath. Go ahead and feel what it's like to be one with your truest self, one with your dream self, with that full person, ambitious person. Go ahead, this next breath, think about one quality that they shine, that they exude from them. You can mentally affirm, I am this. Whatever the quality is, the adjective, or it could be a noun, whatever comes to mind. Another deep breath. I'd like for you to go ahead and recognize a way that you already are this adjective, this thing. Go ahead and let it come to mind, whether it's visual or just a feeling, or feel that in your body. Where does it reside? I am blank. You already are this. So you deserve to go ahead and just feel into it in this moment. Another deep breath, and we're going to make a line 2 here. I am also blank. Like a game of improv here. Yes, and. Cool. Really feel into, again, the ways in which you already are this. On the next exhale, releasing the gap between the two selves. And one more, I am also blank. Another positive characteristic. I invite you to feel into what it feels like to already be all of these things. Giving yourself credit and recognition of the wonderful attributes that you already shine. It also will affirm inside, I am already worthy and complete. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And go with any doubt, anything that you're ready to let go of as you embrace your wholeness and connect to that self-love. Meditating and these practices are not only a gift to yourself, it's a gift to other people because you radiate that love outwards, you radiate that compassion and understanding to other people as well. So one last time, just go ahead and send some love to yourself. Feel that self-love. Feel that recognition, you deserve it. You can start to, when you're ready, you can set a closing intention if you wish for the day, for the meditation. And when you're ready, start to bring your awareness back again to the room, to your body, to your immediate surroundings. Know that you're already doing enough and that, as you grow, just take one step at a time, believe in yourself, and keep going. Keep going towards your goals. Keep just doing your best. That's all you can do. And take your time, y'all, to kind of reacquaint. And that's about it from me today. So thank you all so much for listening, being here with me. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And thank you again for having me.